There's hundreds of cases of this. And
yeah, sure.
They've all
There's lots of
upheld-
stuff in court that don't belong in court.
Hey, listen.
The
It's one
government
thing-
isn't the one that tells you what rights
If
you have or don't
100
have.
people
right?
tell you you're drunk, you might be drunk. If
Really?
99 people
Really?
say you're not drunk and one
really?
says you are, then maybe
so we're
you
talking
aren't.
democracy.
No,
really?
I'm talking about
How can 1,000 people
science.
be wrong?
I'm talking about
Right?
science and probability.
If the minority thinks something,
Oh,
it must
my
be
God.
wrong because the majority can't be
Oh
wrong.
my God.
Come
Yeah,
on.
there's a bandwagon fallacy. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying if you have data, you're drinking Miller High Life? Good God.
Yeah.
If you
I bought it for the Super Bowl, and it turns out my dad and I don't drink very much of it, so I still have it.
from the Super Bowl
Uh-huh.
of 10 years ago.
Yeah. Super
Okay.
Bowl one.
Yeah. You weren't born.
Yeah.
50 years Super Bowl.
Yeah.
50 years. I was born. I was, around 8
I can't
or
believe
so.
we've had more Super Bowls than we've had presidents.
Yeah. So,
Wait.
oh, wait a minute.
No, that's not what I meant.
Yeah, it is. No. Yeah. Yeah, more football was invented, or more Super Bowls. Yeah, that's what the meme was. Because we've had, 46 presidents or
I
whatever
don't
it is.
remember. Whatever. Let's move on. You're wrong.
You're
And-
wrong.
All right.
Okay, so U.S. Supreme
Speaking
Court
of
Justice
judges, yeah.
was murdered.
Yeah, did you see the...
Let's disregard the fact that he was 79 and diabetic and old, and
But he
liked to
But
drink.
he had a pillow on his face. Or wait, no, there was a pillow near his head.
yeah.
Or what?
I put pillows on my head all the time.
Well, that's not actually what the guy
I don't know what he
said
said
anyway.
The point is, he died in bed with a 16-year-old hooker. That's my hypothesis.
so
That's what I'm going with. And they wanted to keep it quiet.
And that's why they didn't want the autopsy.
And they
'cause
didn't
it
want the autopsy. They didn't
Well,
want
it
anybody
seems
around.
They had elevated heart rate and
Yeah.
blood flowing to weird extremities.
You'll see the film on YouTube in a couple of years.
Jeez.
But the thing
That's
is,
horrible.
This guy was old. He had health
Yeah.
issues.
I mean, he was generally healthy.
No, they came out. The family said, "Oh,
he
he
was
had
generally-
high blood pressure. he
Yeah,
had
that's
diabetes."
everybody does. Who doesn't?
He's almost 80 years old. Okay, he's already lived 9 years past the 70.
Yeah.
Now, I wish I could live that long. The guy was out quail hunting that day, or supposedly,
Yeah.
which I hope I'm still quail hunting at 80.
Which is a sign of good health.
And not
Carry
necessarily,
on.
because I want to be taken around in a golf cart up to where the dog's pointing and then get out and shoot quail. That's how they do it. He probably had a few cocktails, probably had a nice rich dinner. I suspect he died from sleep apnea. He was on his back. I think he probably
okay.
stopped breathing.
All right, doctor. Who knows? I don't know. I think it's kind of ridiculous to think that he was murdered for some
Political
to get
reason.
him off the Supreme Court.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
The reality is, though, that his death does
Raises questions.
Raise some. No, well, I mean, it puts us in a really weird place where Obama has a chance to nominate a Supreme Court justice.
Yeah,
right?
but the world is shaped by all kinds of weird events. I mean,
no.
If we didn't
that's
shoot,
not what no.
That's
not
Duke
what I'm saying.
Ferdinand, the First World War wouldn't have happened. I mean, come on. There's all kinds of things.
What are you talking about?
History.
I've moved on from him dying to now the reality is Obama has a chance to appoint a Supreme Court justice, and that's bad.
Yeah, and one of
That's
the ones
really bad.
I heard bantered about is, of course, the Attorney General.
Which one? The current one?
The current one.
Really?
That would be horrible. Do you know she was on the Federal Reserve Bank Board
Yeah.
of New York City?
No, it's good. It's private.
Right.
At least she hasn't been in government her whole life. Kind of.
She would be horrible. Anyways, they should have done an autopsy. That would have quieted a bunch of
No one knows.
conspiracy
No one
people.
knows.
No, it would have reduced some, depending on the findings. All right, so we'll move past the warrant. Apple harassed by FBI. Let's not go into that.
Really? Why?
I wanted to go to this.
Ugh.
Remember the hunter that killed Cecil the lion
Yeah.
and how ostracized and demonized he was? Everybody hated him. And
Yeah.
business hurt. Well, apparently the national park in Africa that took place now has found over 500 lions, which means there's 200 lions more than the holding capacity is. And they're going to go out and slaughter
The holding capacity?
Yeah, there's a holding capacity of whatever it's called. It's something capacity. Yeah, holding capacity.
Whatever.
What the environment can best.
Yeah. Because
maintain.
who better to decide what
Than
the
government.
environment can do than the government, right? Not,
How about
not
scientists?
the actual environment?
Listen, you dink. We got to have somebody do something to analyze stuff.
How did there become 500 lions if the environment cannot sustain 500 lions? Were they dropped there by some lion collector that got out of lion
I
collecting?
think it was a really good real estate agent.
I mean, come on.
that said, "Come on in. This is a great space."
And that's how cities get over.
And we have,
overcrowded.
50 deer in the Ann Arbor airport that need to be taken care of because they present a hazard. How did those deer get there? Because they're not hunted. All right, so now they're talking
my
about
point. Yeah, but you're saying that they have to slaughter them because the nature can't hold that many. It seems like nature is holding that many. Maybe they're posing risks to the humans, but that's a different story.
No, I think they're
Like the deer in the airport. That's the problem. Is they're going to get humans injured.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
also,
that the environment
also
there
because,
can't sustain them, because if
No.
that was true, they would die and they wouldn't be an issue anymore.
and that could be the problem is that 200 might be what they best. I mean, we have science, and you can believe in science.
I know, but
or not.
Yeah.
Okay,
no, I
so,
do believe in
so
science.
you're saying that they want 500. Well, anyways, the point is they want to kill 200 lions because the problem is the hunters aren't going there anymore. They've been scared off. So instead of getting $20,000 or $30,000 per lion, they're now having to pay taxpayer money to go out and hire a professional hunter to kill these lions, and it doesn't benefit anybody. Because the lions are still being killed, but now there's no revenue being generated. It helps the conservation and the maintenance of this national park in this country. And that's part of the problems that we said were going to happen.
Are people afraid to go hunt there or what?
That's the articles that I was reading,
Yeah.
was that they're just not going there because they don't want to get
Everyone gave this
their
guy such a
pee-pee
hard
spanked.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I believe it.
And it costs a lot of money to go on.
That's
a
why I
lion hunt.
haven't went.
Yeah, that $35,000 is nothing
That's
to do
not
with
the
it.
reason.
No. You were bitching about our green label scotch. I mean, good Lord.
That's expensive.
It is expensive.
Look, compared to my Miller High Life.
Your Miller High Life. I tell you a story about my grandma. I love my grandma. She's passed away, but when she was in her younger days, she didn't drink much. But every once in a while,
she would
she'd
drink
go-
much.
She would drink much. No, she would have a cocktail or two. But they'd go on a bowling leave. This is in Flint, Michigan. My grandfather was a tool and die man for General Motors. Made a great living in the good old days. Go to bowling thing, and Miller High Life at that time, this would probably be in the 40s and 50s, was considered, man, that was high-class beer. And so
The champagne of beer.
the champagne of beer, exactly. It was advertised as really high-end. So my grandpa, her husband, and my grandpa's brothers and stuff, they were all there. And they said, come on, Olga, have a drink. And she goes, oh, all right, I'll have a beer. What do you want? Well, I'll have a Miller High Life. And they're all like, oh, my God, you're picking the most expensive. Oh, the champagne. Oh, God, you never drink, and now you're going to drink the best beer in the whole world, Miller High Life? She goes, well, yeah. And I just want to say that's advertising.
Yeah, why?
It's like Pabst Blue Ribbon now.
Why? Yeah.
That was a trash beer when I grew up in high school. And now,
When I started drinking it was
hippie what do I
hipster.
say? The hipster doofuses.
Yeah, it's horrible. They've ruined it and made it expensive again.
Exactly. That's marketing. Now, what did you say? When you grow up, you haven't grown up yet.
No.
You just turned legal.
Not when I. Nothing about growing up.
Oh,
If you didn't drink a lot, I think you would want to drink the best when you do drink, right?
that's why we're drinking Green Label, right?
Because we don't drink a lot, or because we can't afford Gold Label.
We can't. No, gold is
or
less.
What's the other?
Blue is the top.
Blue.
Yuck, I don't like blue.
All right. Well,
But what about your beer? Why did
I
you
don't-
start drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon? Just because it's cool?
it was cheap, relatively. Yeah.
Not so
No,
much
and look,
more
it
than-
was. Yeah, it's cool.
It's got a higher alcohol
cool.
content.
Look, I was in a rockabilly band for a while.
Oh, you had to drink. You had
Yeah.
to drink it there.
Yeah, and then it got expensive because hipsters.
I remember stealing my dad's Black Label, was it Black Label beer? So, anyways.
Black Label from
Hey, Mabel.
Carling's has it now, right? Like,
Black Label.
yeah. You know they were in Frankenmuth?
And Hams.
Carling's Brewery?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We're out of time.
Really?
See you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.